Hey everybody, it's Chris here with Everyday Cook, and today I'm super excited because we're making one of my favorite dishes, carbonara, or spaghetti carbonara. First things first, we'll address the elephant in the room. A lot of places, restaurants in particular, make this dish in a way that's, well, it's easy to produce in a restaurant, but it's not quite authentic. I'm teaching you the authentic way to do it. Some of these ingredients might be hard to find, but I'll let you know some alternatives. So first things first, we're making our carbonara with guanciale. Now guanciale is the cured pork jowl, or basically the cheek of the pig that's been cured. This it's kind of hard to find sometimes, but if you have a good Italian market in your neighborhood or around you, they will stock this and you'll be able to find it. If you can't find guanciale, use pancetta. Pancetta is a good alternative, but do not use bacon because bacon is smoked, especially American bacon here in the States. It'll be smoked. So if you can't get guanciale, try to get pancetta. Next ingredient is Pecorino Romano. This cheese is, it's fairly prevalent. You can find it in many grocery stores, big chain grocery stores. I guess it's considered an artisan ingredient, but you can find it. But if you can't find it, if you absolutely can't find it, then you can use Parmesan. But you're going to be missing out on the flavor of the Pecorino Romano that adds to the dish. Next ingredient everybody has is eggs. No problem there, no problem finding that. And finally, quality dry pasta, quality dried Italian pasta. These Barilla is a good alternative brand. I picked this up at the same Italian market that I got the guanciale from. So without further ado, we're going to start making this awesome dish that is just, it impresses everybody. It's good for a date night. It'll convince that person to love you. Can't guarantee that, but it'll go a long way and for them falling for you. All right, let's get started. All right, first thing we're going to do is chop up the guanciale. Now, most of the time when you get the guanciale from the Italian market, it's going to have a skin on the bottom, and this skin is rather tough and hard, so you're going to want to cut this off. So the first thing we'll do is cut off the skin. All right, so now that we got that skin cut off, we're going to cut these up into strips, and then we're going to cut them into about 2-inch length cuts. So about a 1/4 inch thick, these cuts. Like I said, we're going to be cutting these into 2-inch strips, about a 1/4 inch square. We want some meat on these. We want them to be kind of thick for the mouthfeel. There we go. We have our guanciale all cut up. This is the size we want to shoot for. You could cut them a bit thinner if you would like, but I like mine a little bit chunky. All right, next we're going to make our egg and cheese mixture. Now, what we're going to do is just crack these eggs into the bowl, and then we'll make a mixture of these. So now that we got all our eggs in the bowl here, we're going to give them a quick stir, get the eggs in homogeneous here. We're going to add all of this Pecorino Romano cheese into the mixture. It's more cheese than egg here. You want a grainy mixture. So we're going to mix it all up until these are well combined into this cheesy, gooey goodness. There we go. Looking good. And what I like to do at this point is add the pepper, because we're going to want some pepper inside of this as well. So add a good amount of pepper. They love their pepper. We're going to keep going. Whew, got a workout with that pepper. There we go. Okay, what you want to do is get a nice big pan, and you're going to put it on a medium heat, more on the low side, because we don't want to cook this too high of a heat. We want to render out the fat slowly. So once you get that up to temperature, you can go ahead and add our guanciale in there. And we're going to go ahead and let this cook down, rendering out the fat, getting nice and crispy on the outside as well. And that fat is what's going to give us a lot of the flavor for when we cook the carbonara and mix it all together. So we'll let this go, and meanwhile we'll start something else. Okay, so while you have your guanciale cooking, we're going to start the pasta water. So you're going to get your pasta pot, turn it on, get it boiling, and we're going to add just a bit of salt. Because the guanciale is salty enough, we're just going to add a little bit of salt to the pasta water. No big amount there. So we're going to get our pasta in while the guanciale is cooking. As you can see, the guanciale is rendered out all its fat here. And this is about the time we're going to take it off the heat to wait for when we're ready to add the pasta. This is going to let it cool down a bit so we don't make scrambled eggs with our pasta when we're done. Alright, once you get the water going at a good boil, we're going to put in the pasta. And usually we let this go for, well, just follow the directions, but this is 9 minutes here. So we'll let this go 9 minutes, making sure to get it in there so it doesn't burn all spaghetti on the edges. So we'll let this go until it's about ready and done. Alright, so what you want to do is get this right before it's done. So a little bit before it's al dente. And the way you test it is you don't throw it at the wall. You just take a piece and you eat it. That's ready to go. So what we're going to do is turn off the heat and get this off the heat so that it doesn't continue cooking as well. Okay, so here we have our pasta that's still in the water. And what we're going to do is, while the water is hot, we're going to actually add some hot water to the egg mixture here to make our sauce. So what we want to do is actually do this fairly quickly so we don't cook the eggs too much. You put it in and you start mixing. And you want to make a homogeneous mixture here. You might need to add a little bit more of the sauce. This is getting nice and creamy, so you put a little bit more in here. A little bit of that. Try not to splash yourself with the extremely hot pasta water. And the starch in the water is actually going to act as a combining agent as well with all the oils and things. So that's what we're going to do, make a nice creamy texture. This cuts down on the risk of you making scrambled eggs with your pasta. So it's a good step to do. And then next thing we're going to do is add the same thing into our guanciale. So we're going to add a bit of the pasta water in here, and it's going to help us emulsify the oils in this as well. And next step is the crucial step of putting the pasta in. And remember that super crucial step of adding the pasta to the guanciale? Well, turns out I forgot to record that. But here it is after I have incorporated it. But all you gotta do is mix the pasta from the pot into the dish with the guanciale, then add the cheese and the egg, give it a good stir till it's nice and creamy, and then plate it on up like I'm doing right here. You can use the tongs to twist it like this to get it into one big pile, and then make a mountain of the guanciale right on the top. And it'll look gorgeous and delicious. And there you have it, delicious spaghetti carbonara. Done right, it's delicious. And you really have to try this and make it at home because it's really good fresh. You can't wait for it, you gotta eat it. So I gotta dig into this soon. But if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the recipes that I'm doing, think about giving me a subscribe because I'm going to be putting out some regular content. And comment down below what recipes you'd like to see. I'll be checking those comments, and maybe, who knows, you'll see a recipe that you requested in one of my next videos. But until next time, thanks for watching. I am the Everyday Cook.